Happy October, everyone. Welcome back to Live Life Simple. I have a perfect fall recipe today. It'll help you use up those pumpkins in the garden. It's a super versatile recipe. You can use it with all kinds of things. It freeze dries really well. Today we're making freeze-dried pumpkin curry. The most common way to serve curry is with rice, so I'm going to do this with rice today. I'm going to use brown rice. I have rinsed it first. It really helps the rice turn out better. It doesn't make it stick together. So I'm going to go 2 cups of brown rice, 2.5 cups of water. We're going to put this in the Instant Pot for 20 minutes and then let it naturally release. That usually takes another 20 or 30 minutes. Next, we need to dice up 1 cup of carrots, 3/4 of a cup of bell pepper, and 1 medium onion. And like a lot of my recipes, this is a recipe that we've made lots of times. This is the first time that I have used it for freeze drying. So in order to figure out how much this recipe is going to yield, you'll have to stick around a little bit later in the video. That way we can see how many cups this recipe is going to make, and then we can adjust it to whatever freeze dryer you have. Once you have your veggies chopped up, we're gonna go into a saucepan. Just put a little bit of broth at the bottom of it, and then we'll add our 1 medium onion, 3/4 of a cup of our chopped bell pepper, and then 1 cup of our cut carrots. We're gonna saute that for a few minutes. Once that has softened up, we're gonna do 1 to 2 teaspoons of ginger, or 2 inches of fresh ginger. This is actually freeze-dried ginger. I'll have a video coming up shortly on how to freeze-dry ginger. And we're also gonna add in 3 cloves of minced garlic. We're gonna let this cook for another 1 or 2 minutes, and then we're gonna add some more ingredients. Next, we're gonna add in all of the stuff that makes curry. We're gonna do 3/4 of a cup of coconut milk. We're gonna add 1/2 cup of passata or tomato sauce. We're gonna add 1/2 cup of vegetable broth, and then you can actually save a little bit more if you want to water it down a little bit later. And this wouldn't be pumpkin curry if it did not have some pumpkin in it. I'm gonna add in 2 cups of pumpkin puree. Each one of these cans is really about 1.5 cups. This is a 15-ounce can. If you can find a 16-ounce, that'll get you 2 cups exactly. So give this a good stir, and then you're gonna take your heat down to a simmer. And we're gonna make all of those yummy spices for the curry next. We'll start off with 1/2 tablespoon of curry powder, 3/4 of a teaspoon of turmeric, 1 teaspoon of cumin, 3/4 of a teaspoon of salt, 1/2 teaspoon of smoked paprika, and then 1/4 teaspoon of pepper. We're gonna add this into our sauce. That's gonna give this a giant flavor shot. Mix all this together. We're gonna simmer this for about 7 or 8 minutes until all those veggies are soft. So while this is simmering, another great addition to this would be some chicken. You can do some cubed chicken. You can add it into the freeze dryer separate, or add it into the recipe later, or you can cook it in the curry as well, which will infuse some of that flavor. We're almost done. Everything smells really good. My rice is also done, so we're ready to put these on just a freeze dryer tray. But not before we add about 6 to 8 leaves of fresh kale. I like to chop it up, and then this will kind of wilt into the sauce. And my favorite part of the day, taste test time. That has everything that you want in a curry, and this is gonna be an awesome freeze drying recipe. Now we're gonna take this delicious curry sauce and just pour it. This was 2 cups of uncooked rice. We're gonna mix this all together, and I think this will probably make a couple of freeze drying trays. We're gonna transfer. I'm going on to small trays. I'm going on to pre-cut parchment paper, and I'm gonna make sure that we're not going above the lip of the tray. This is pretty thick stuff, so it will take a little bit to freeze dry. We don't wanna go above that lip, or it's gonna take even longer. This ended up making 2 small trays, so I'm gonna have to double this recipe. But I'm gonna do the dividers and the 8 portion setting. That gives us about 1/2 cup servings. That way, if you don't wanna use this as a meal, you wanna use it as a side or something. I'm gonna put these 2 trays in the deep freeze and get them frozen, and then I'm gonna get working on my other portion, and then we'll meet you at the freeze dryer. Now that these are frozen, let's get a quick weight on these. This one's 1848, next one's 1914, 1810, and the last tray 1494. And this is really gonna help us with our rehydration, because we're gonna weigh after Also, that way we will know how much water came out. That way we'll know how much water to put back in. Take a minute to subscribe to Live Life Simple. We do primarily freeze drying on this channel. While you're there, click the bell. That'll send you a notification every time we put a new video out. That's Sundays at 8 a.m. for us. And if you like the content we're providing, let us know by giving us a thumbs up. It also lets YouTube know that you're enjoying this content. If you want to get this recipe along with more than 300 other recipes, you can do so by joining the Freeze Drying Cookbook. That website is updated multiple times a week. If you want the hard copy version, you can find that at freezedryingsupplies.com or Amazon, and you can also find the freeze drying handbook there as well. And we now have a volume 2 of the cookbook coming out. I don't even have a copy of it because when I'm recording this, it's not even available yet. Any of the green accessories found in this video or other videos, as well as many of the other accessories, can be found at freezedryingsupplies.com. Our goal when we started this business was to streamline the freeze drying process, and we continue to do so. If you're new to freeze drying or you have questions about freeze drying, you can join our Facebook or our MeWe freeze drying groups. Those can be found at Retired at 40's freeze drying group or in the description below in this video. And now that I have all of that out of the way, let's get back to our freeze dried pumpkin curry. 3, 2, 1. Well, that took us just about 37 hours. And we're gonna put these on the scale and see what our average weight is now that everything is freeze dried. 930 on that one, 876, 798, and 902. Quite a bit of water came out of those. The dividers made some nice portions for us. And I'm gonna bag these up in some serving sizes that will work for us. So probably 4 of these in a bag. And then I'll meet you in Santa Fe, New Mexico. We're gonna have a little rehydration there. Today we're in Santa Fe, just outside of Ski Santa Fe, and it's a perfect time of year because the leaves are changing. It's really beautiful around here, and it goes really well with pumpkin curry. So to rehydrate one of our portions that we did, we need half of a cup of water. And preferably hot water. We like to use these insulated thermos things, and then you're just ready to go. And you can see as soon as it hits that cooked rice, it pretty much just melts it. We should just let this sit for a couple minutes, stir it, and it should be ready to eat. This meal has autumn written all over it. It's perfect fuel for a little bike trip. We're gonna go do that right now. Remember, live life simple. Catch you next week.